Insights with Terri Ep. A weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep. Here's Terri.
Hi everybody, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep. Thank you for joining me for the week of October the 23rd through the 30th, 2022. I really appreciate your time. Thank you again. Now we're moving into a really strong Scorpio energy field, moving from that wanting to balance our life Libra energy that was quite concentrated, and moving now into a deeper understanding. Scorpio is an energy field that wants us to dive deep into our lives, into everything, relationships, wanting to find out what made a person do what they did, not satisfied with just the surface. And many of us do need to dive deep into some things, look at some of the politics. We do need to look at what occurred, how did events start to fall into place this way, only with the idea in mind of fixing it, as opposed to judging and beating somebody over the head with a wet noodle. I think what we need to look at, given the energy that's around us, is more than judgment and retribution and revenge. We need to look at what is causing this. What's the pattern? Why do these things keep occurring? And when somebody's doing something, what's the motive? So Scorpio energy is going to give us the opportunity to look at what's the motive. Examples would be a fair chunk of money was given to parents for students to do some extra work with maybe tutors or buy technical instruments that they might need. The parents are being trusted that they're going to spend it wisely. All well and good, wonderful. It was because I think some of the Ontario schools are falling behind in math for the students. We did just terribly with math. I think myself the problem is the new math. There wasn't a problem with math until they got all silly. And this silliness, even teachers, math teachers that I've talked with, have said it's very difficult to teach. It's very difficult to wrap your mind around. So we need to fix a problem, not throw money at it in whatever direction we think we need to. So that's what Scorpio is going to offer us, is to be able to look at the reason. Why was it thrown at us? Was it a political move? Was it something to get them voted in? Were they trying to get points? Is it solid? Is it a solid investment? What do people think? Same with the hospital that we're hoping to get built here in Essex County and Windsor. Some people want to revisit and start all over again. What's the motives? So it's diving deep to try to figure out what's going on. Scorpio tries to get underneath that outer mask. Some people wear masks. They wear masks of cool control, maybe to cover up some personal issues, to cover up anger, to cover up pain. So Scorpio wants to get underneath that mask and find out what's going on in the inner life, both yourself and your friends. So in a word, Scorpio energy, especially it's in the sun sign right now. It's in Venus. It's moving into Mercury, which is how we think that'll be on the 30th. So, but it's already there in Venus and in the sun sign. So with that, it's a very, very intense energy field, and it's driven by pressure that's felt around us, felt from outside of us, felt from what's inside of us. So it's a very powerful energy, and we've got to be very careful not to burn ourselves up, not to get insane with the whole range of emotions that are going to be going on. If you're visiting love energy or relationship, it will be intense, because it won't be satisfactory to just skate on the surface. So I notice sometimes when people meet new people during this time, it can get intense too quickly. I don't mean just sex. I mean, this psychology, the digging, the probing, the harsh eye contact. So we need to try to do this to understand, but we also need to maybe try to soften it, because we're going to go through a whole range of emotions, all of us. And if it's like everybody in menopause at the same time, if we're all going through this range of emotions, how is it going to play out? It's almost like walking through the valley of the shadow of death. And Scorpio in the 7th house does rule death. So it's the death of our old way, the death of the way we used to do things, the death of that type of an energy field, moving forward into a new life, a new way of seeing things, a new way of dealing with things. So it can be severe for some. It does encourage depression or extreme sadness. That doesn't mean that you have to be depressed or that you have to be extremely sad, but it does mean that if you have a propensity for that, it may hasten that energy to envelop you. So what do? You focus on the gratitude. You focus on what you love in your life at right this moment while I'm sharing this podcast with you. The sun is absolutely magnificent. It's been raining for 3 or 4 days, and now the sun is out, and the wind it's quite a bit of gusty wind, but it's warm-ish. It's a beautiful, absolutely magnificent fall day. I'm going to go out there and crunch some leaves around with my dogs. So that's what this kind of an energy is. It's about fighting the emotions that will bring you down and slam you onto the ground, recognizing them for what they are, recognizing for what's bothering you, and then do something about it, something that makes you happy. Now, this energy is also going to support good listening skills. That's good and bad. I do admire people that have good listening skills. And it's almost a rare commodity in today's day and age. Everybody's in a hurry. They read the first 3 sentences of the text, they miss the whole last part of it, and have missed the whole point of it. I see this over and over and over again. So this great listening skill that is being given to us is almost like listening with deep sonar into very hidden layers of what's being said or what's happening. So it's a superpower. And Scorpio is psychic, a knowing, a sense of knowing. So if we put that together, the great listening skills, the ability to understand the body language, the ability to look at the hidden layers, the ability to get into that psychic, intuitive, I feel like, can be very, very revealing and can help us really understand some things in a way that we need to. Now, Scorpio is a water sign, so that's fluid, it's flexible. They're going to offer us a really good level-headed way of approaching things, maybe in a more straightforward way than some other of the zodiac signs. It doesn't have to be harsh and mean. It's just something that will allow us to just kind of hit it head on if we need to, but level-headed, being, common sense. Scorpio usually has been looked at as a sign of power. I have not really ever met a weak, I'm trying to think back, a really weak Scorpio person. They're willing to change their lives. They're not afraid to look at the truth. It's a challenging energy to be Scorpio, but it's also a challenging energy for all of us to be in Scorpio the way we are. The ruling planet, as I've said before, of Scorpio is Pluto, and Pluto is the Greek mythology, the god of the underworld. So he guards great, deep secrets. So you literally have to go to hell and back to uncover these deep, deep secrets. So this is an energy field that does allow us to do the deep diving. So when we look at this, we will be challenged in situations that are coming at you. Are you harboring any dark feelings for something? Do you notice any obsessive tendencies that you have or somebody around you has? Are you letting your passions take over, or is somebody around you allowing that? So this energy initiates a us through ordeals, through circumstances, through situations, to almost be stripped of any facade that is shallow, so that we can take on something greater. It's almost a primal force. And then come up with the wisdom, how to be wise. Yeah, cautious, but wise. So be prepared for psychic, emotional extremes. If you're sensitive at all, you're going to be feeling everybody else's stuff too. Be aware of possibly depressive energy. That doesn't mean we all have to go depressed. It means we have to be aware of it. And if you start to become aware of it, then what are you going to do to help yourself or your friend or somebody else that you care for out of it? I know myself, dogs don't normally get depressed, but I do see them sometimes subdued. And I'll look and I'll say, now what is that all about? And it could be anything. Dogs are not as simple as we think they are. So then I will try to say, okay, something's bothering them. With us, it's torment. With them, just something's bothering them. So I'll take them out for a big walk in the bush. Might take them in my van for a little bit first because they love going in the van, and then I'll take them some new place that they haven't smelled everything yet. And it just lightens them up. Something fun, something light, something that they can get into. Be careful with people and your animals, because jealousy and obsession can rear its head at this time. Now, I say jealousy, that could be jealousy in a relationship. It can be jealous of other people. It could be, me as a reader. What if my friend is doing more readings than I am, or training more dogs than I am? Could be jealous or just glad for them. That's my choice. Fear usually comes out of jealousy. We're just afraid we don't have enough. If we feel that we have enough, we're not afraid. Dogs, cats, animals as well can get into resource guarding at this time. So they have a bone, or they might guard it a little bit more. So watch the big dogs crucifying the little dogs. Maybe they've been good with each other, and this would be the time where they make a dive and hurt one another as they're guarding the bone or guarding you. Maybe what you have to look at is a dog is in your lap and the child goes to hug you, and the dog just snaps at the child. This is my mom. You don't get to do that. So just be aware. You've got to be careful. If I know the dog has a propensity for that, I might block with one arm and invite the child in and give a hard stare to the dog and say, leave it. So they're feeling it too. We're not the only ones. Even in nature, I'm looking at some stuff and seeing it. So they're giving us, at the same time they're giving us challenges, they're giving us emotional courage, because that's what Scorpio is, and the ability to wrestle with the demons that we're literal and symbolic, that we're going to be faced with in the situations that are coming at us. So that dive into the dark, unknown water can be scary, but we need to do it, or we're going to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. Watch that we don't get into toxic relationships at this time, or that we aren't a toxic person, or that we are starting to be drawn into a toxicity that just isn't good for anybody, or it won't heal, it won't add to your life, it won't make anything better. So we really do have to be careful of that, because so many times people don't realize how toxic what they're doing and where they are is, or where they're playing, how toxic it is. Just even the thinking, I've noticed many people can think in a very toxic way, and really just not be aware of it. And so if you care for somebody and you can do it as gently as you can, don't be afraid to point it out, possibly. The number that we were given for this week is the number 3. Now, the characters of number 3 is being mentally alert and having a very creative mind. So it really supports creativity. It's original. It's a very original energy. It vibrates to that, and it vibrates to good imagination. We will just absolutely intolerably hate boredom. And it allows us, because we're coming out of that Libra energy, to cooperate with others, because we were supposed to have been taught about balance and partnerships and how to support each other and balance it. This number 3 can be very charming and witty when you put it together with the Scorpio energy, and Mars still being in Gemini forward. It's going retrograde on the 30th, which can be very harsh. That's the end of this week. It can be very harsh, so we have to watch ourselves that we don't fall or slip. Our coordination will be off. So be very, very careful. I feel things ahead of time. And the other day I had my rubber boots on, and I don't think they make rubber the same way as they used to. And I was coming off the porch, and it just started to rain, and I almost had an event. Thank heavens I have railings, because it just caught me. I had no idea it would be that slippery. So just be careful, because I was still fortunate enough to have some mind-body contact, but people can make mistakes during this time, so accidents are more likely to happen. Number 3 lets us, it allows us, when it combines with the Scorpio, because of the understanding and the psychology of Scorpio and the interest and curiosity of Gemini and Mars, and that number 3 allows us to learn and to be more diplomatic and put it in place. And I was against diplomacy. I just thought, say it the way you mean it. Just don't dink around. But the way people are being so coarse and horrid lately, I'm starting to have a whole new respect for manners. Manners are so important, and I think that with this number 3 and Scorpio, we'll be given the gift of being mannerly, being diplomatic, being able to get your point across, but respectfully for yourself and for other people. I believe that when a person is disrespectful to another person, then they're disrespectful to themselves as well, because how can you respect somebody that's being an idiot? And there's different ways of approaching a situation. So this energy is supposed to try to get us to work with each other, to cooperate, to work better under stress. So you're going to be given some situations possibly this week that can be stressful, but how to work with it and to activate some of that mental energy that's going to be open up for us. So this number 3 is really, it's a good energy field for us that we can combine with this. The beginning of the week, we have a new moon. It technically is new on Tuesday, the 25th, and it is going to be in Scorpio. Wow, that's a surprise. So that's a lot of Scorpio energy, and it's a solar eclipse as well. So that's a lot of energy too, to allow ourselves to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. It's a very regenerative energy. So that if you're needing healing, if you've just had an operation, if you have a bad knee, you can really take this energy of healing and really, if you have the ability or you've practiced the ability to have intentional intent where you can focus that energy, you can really help yourself heal at this time. So it's a wonderful, wonderful way to self-heal. And then towards about Thursday, towards the end of the week, our vulnerable body parts will be the liver, our hips, our thighs, the tailbone, your hip muscle, your hip joint, the sacrum, the lumbar, and the vertebrae and the muscles around your lumbar region. So all of that will be very, very tender. Now, I'm feeling it already now because I'm ahead of everybody, so be proactive. If you have a brace, wear it. Don't be a wuss. Be careful how you lift. Just be respectful of your body. Try not to have too many foods that are inflammation foods. Turmeric is supposed to help some people. Just whatever you do to keep those body parts working, don't be afraid to get ahead of the game because it's pretty significant. And for older folks, there is more because of the accident thing and this hip and thigh and sacrum. Be careful of falls. Falls might be a little bit more common in the next week and a half. So just, as I said, just be careful. Watch where you're putting your feet. Watch that you're holding on to the railing because hips and pelvic area could be a problem. I did a real quick card pull for everybody. And the first one is the Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles being our physical reality. So that's money, security, comforts, health, body. It's our physical world. And this is the card that's considered the card of reward. So when we look at that, it's kind of like the Border Collie that works really hard and you know, here, sit down, stay, and here's your reward. Here's your frisbee. It's not delayed. It's right there. So it's a good energy field for us, maybe looking at our financial situation, firm financial foundations. What do I need for this future that's a little tenuous that we're walking into? Prices aren't going to go down, as you know, anytime soon. What will I do understanding that, knowing that things cost more? Will I be a little bit more cautious of spending? How will I work with that? So this is an energy field that helps us be a little bit more legitimate in thinking about our financial and physical resources, both health and money. Health meaning if you're tired, stop. If you don't get too cold, if you got cold and you used all your energy trying to warm up, you could be more susceptible to the flu. Not that colds cause flus, it's a virus, but it does encourage your immune system to fail. So you don't want to put pressure where pressure is not necessary, especially with what's coming. So it's an energy field that says start a business venture if you're thinking of it, but do it sanely, do it cautiously, do it with common sense. This monetary energy is solid around us. So if you were thinking of doing that, you'd have more common sense in that. And the card of justice came up, which means we maybe need to be more, I'm trying to think of the right word, adapt. With this truck convoy, what they're uncovering is that a whole bunch of people that were in high places were just skimming through their job. When push came to shove and they needed to have some experience or ability or talent at their job, they fell flat on their faces. They were just skimming through. They were faking it. They weren't good, and it showed. So the minute pressure is on something that isn't built right and isn't stable, it implodes. So right now, they're giving us an opportunity to see it with all that Scorpio energy, to see what isn't solid, and also for ourselves to look at our financial situation and make it solid, to have this lead to prosperity and material security by doing it sanely and doing it in a way that makes sense. And then that card of justice that came up, which is upside down, is saying don't build your house on a bad foundation. So look to the people that you're going to hire to put your furnace in. Are they good? Have you checked around? Have you done due diligence? The people that will build your house, the people that are doing the work for you. Many people just grab somebody and then are wondering why it didn't work out. They're also saying we need to pay for this week particular attention to keeping things formal. Keep good records. Get your records in order. Don't be sloppy with this energy. This will come back and bite you. Some of the cards that were laid out, as I said already, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, are pushing towards it not feeling like it's the happiest time. So pressure is going to be put on feeling a little dumpy, a little sad, a little morose. It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to live in it, and you don't have to accept it. With this energy, if you work a little bit harder at trying to enjoy all the little things that you have, maybe just a smile, just something light, doesn't have to be big, but really, really, really focus on what you like, what you love, all the little things, and that builds up into a happier, because the pressure is going to be on unhappy, and I don't like that. That's no fun. I want to be happy. I like optimism. We have a big chance at optimism towards the end of this week because Sagittarius is moving into the moon being our emotional state. Sagittarius traditionally being the optimistic zodiac sign. Never say never, never say die, never give up, always keep trying. So you can tap into that energy because it's not too far from the new moon, and you can pull that in for yourself if you need it. Alrighty, kids, that's your information for this week, the week of October the 23rd through the 30th. I thank you very much for your kind attention. If you have any digital needs, don't be afraid to give Charlie O'Brien a look up on Google. He has put us on Spotify and Amazon Tunes, on SoundCloud, on the iHeart, the website, www.terriworld.com. He's archived many of the podcasts if you need to go back and refer. And I think there's a YouTube too. He gives me the link, and I post that on Facebook for everybody. So we're just about everywhere, thanks to Charlie O'Brien. All right, you kids have a wonderful week. It's supposed to be a very, very weird week as far as sunshine and then rain. So during the rain, just think of all the nice washing that it's doing, and during the sunshine, just enjoy the last of it. You have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Insights with Terri Coots, and visit her website, terriworld.com, TERRI world.com. And we'll catch you next time